Hello and welcome to a new episode of Harmonic Quick Bits. Today we're going to take an in-depth look at triads. I'm sure you're familiar with the basic triads: major triad, minor triad, diminished, and augmented triad. The structure of triads is pretty simple. We have a root, a third, and a fifth. The definition of major, minor, diminished, and augmented comes from the different elements of this triad. For example, a major triad is the root and a major third, and then a fifth. A minor triad is the root, a minor third, and then a fifth. The diminished triad is two minor thirds, so root to minor third to flat five. And the augmented triad is based on major thirds, and it's the root to the major third, and then another major third up to create a augmented fifth. All right, let's get started with all the triads. In the following exercises, I've put together major triads and root, first and second inversion, as well as minor, diminished, and augmented triads. I'm playing them in the first instance vertically, and then in the second example for each of the qualities of chords, I'm playing them vertically and connecting the inversions across all strings. Let's check out the major version. And before I forget, here's a quick side note. What are inversions? We have three notes in our triad, and the basic assumed root position is root, third, and fifth. We can now reorganize the structure of these three notes. So if we take the root note and place it up an octave, we now get the third, the fifth, and the root. That is called the first inversion. And the second inversion works the same way. We take the lowest note here, the third, up on top, and we get fifth, root, and third. After that, if we do the same thing again, we're actually starting over again with our root position triad, one octave higher. So that's the whole thing. And here's the minor triad version. All right, let's take a look at the diminished triads. And lastly, here are the augmented triads. All right, now that we have our triads, major, minor, diminished, augmented, in all forms across the fretboard, we need to do something with them. The easiest way is to harmonize a major scale. So let's do that. I'm using root positions in this example, but of course try to do it with first and second inversion as well. So we're going to start out with C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, and C, up and down the fretboard. Then I move to the next set of strings, the B, G, and D string, for example. I'm starting here in the lowest possible position, which is E minor. And then I play the C major scale from E minor, meaning from the third chord up and back down. I do the same thing for the third set, the A, D, and G string. Here I'm starting with C. In the last set, the fourth set, we're starting with the fifth chord, the G major chord, and working our way up and down the fretboard. We're all staying diatonically in the key of C major. Obviously, try this also for other keys And as I said before, practice it with the first and second inversion chords as well. Now that we harmonized the diatonic major scale, let's work on some chord progressions. I've written out 1, 4, 5 chord progressions in major and in minor using voice leading. What is voice leading? Voice leading is moving the notes from one chord to the notes of another chord in the smoothest way possible, meaning no large interval skips. In general, there's a simple rule. When chords move in fourths and fifths, we have one common tone and 2 notes move by step. When chords move in thirds and sixths, we have 2 common tones and 1 note moves by step. And when chords move in seconds and sevenths, we have no common tones and all the notes move either half step, whole step, or a minor third. The general rule here is to not go beyond a minor third as a skip, going from one note of a chord to another note of a chord. That should be the general guideline. It's a really rough rule, and there's lots of exceptions there that you will eventually study, and you will work on all these different things, but we'll just keep it as simple as possible. What does that mean in actuality? Let's take a look at the first example here. C major to F major to G major. C major to F major, the chord movement is a fourth. So we have one common tone and 2 notes move by step. That means C is the common tone here, E moves to F, G moves to A to form an F major chord. After that, we have F to G. This is a movement of seconds. There's no common tones, and all notes move here either a half step, a whole step, or minor third. So in this case, we're going from F major, the lowest note here, C, and moves down to B. F, the note on the B string, 6th fret, moves down to the D on the 3rd fret on the B string. And then we have the A note on the 5th fret on the high E string that moves down to the root note to our G chord. And that is the principle of the whole thing. Now, you can do the same thing for each inversion of the C, F, and G movement. And of course, practice this with other movements like 1, 6, 2, 5. And there's so many other movements available, but try to practice that. Now, I've done this here in C major. And of course, I also have done it for A minor. So our chord progression here for A minor is A minor to D minor to E minor. Let's check it out. Yes, I know, it's a lot of stuff. And I wasn't lying when I said it's a comprehensive guide to all things Triad. The important part here is focus on the keys that you're working in the most and then add the remaining keys slowly after that. Also, of course, try to break all the things down and make it applicable to how you play. Now, with all this theory, I've prepared a couple of technical exercises here too. When it comes to arpeggios or arpeggio playing, a lot of people always connect it to playing it with sweep picking, and that's what I'm going to do here too. In the first example, I'm basically harmonizing the C major scale in an ascending and descending way, and I'm playing with sweep picking. So I'm playing my C major arpeggio triad here with down, down, down in the ascending way, and then I turn around and play the same arpeggio descending again with up, up, up strokes. Then I move to the next position for D minor, and so on, all the way up, all the way down. Of course, practice this with all the other inversions, and of course on all the other string sets as well. In this next example, we're using the same picking pattern. However, the frequency of arpeggios is going to change. I'm playing one arpeggio ascending and another one descending. So that means I'm playing C major ascending, slide over to D minor and descend that, and so on. Let's take a look. And in the last example here, I'm playing my triads across the fretboard. I'm utilizing movements of fourths. Our guitar is tuned in fourths with the exception of the G and B string, but I'm using this movement. So I'm starting on G, going to C to F to be diminished. Once I'm on my top set of strings, my first set, I move over to the next position and I play C major. Then I descend to G major, D minor, and then A minor. And then I slide up to the next position and continue to do so. This is a great way of either practicing alternate picking or sweep picking. Let's take a look. And as I said before, it is a lot of material. So please take your time and be patient with working on all the stuff. Make sure you change keys to the ones that you use a lot to make it applicable. Develop chord progressions, voice leading ideas, apply different techniques, of course, with the triads, and just have fun. It's going to be just a great way of exploring the fretboard. The tablature or the whole lesson package for this particular topic you can find on my Patreon site. So go ahead and check it out. And until next time, happy practice and keep on shredding.